Did the ancient Greeks really believe that a talking pig was a braver, more virtuous hero than Odysseus? That question is driving the current backlash against Christopher Nolan's upcoming $250 million adaptation of the Odyssey. Part of that backlash centers on unconventional casting choices, specifically the decision to have Lupita Nyong'o portray Helen of Troy. The fury intensified when Elliot Page was cast as a male Greek soldier, leading to social media debates regarding historical accuracy and physical presence. Then there is the soundtrack. Nolan has replaced the traditional orchestral score with a mix of Bronze Age instruments, heavy synthesizers, and vocals from rapper Travis Scott. Angry fans argue these choices violate the historical canon of the story. But the historical record shows that a strict canon never actually existed. Long before Hollywood, the ancient Greeks were remixing their own sacred texts in ways that make modern blockbusters look entirely tame. Take the complaint that modern directors take too many liberties with Homer's original narrative structure. In 412 BCE, the acclaimed playwright Euripides decided to rewrite the defining event of all Greek mythology, the Trojan War. In his version of the story, Helen never actually went to Troy. The goddesses replaced her with a literal cloud clone, meaning an entire 10-year bloodbath was fought over a phantom, while the real Helen waited it out in Egypt. Ancient audiences accepted massive plot holes and parallel timelines, treating their cultural lore like an open-source sandbox, where the rules could be rewritten at any moment. Then there is the modern complaint that Hollywood intentionally emasculates traditional hyper-masculine heroes. In the 1st century CE, the philosopher Plutarch wrote a bizarre text where the great warrior Odysseus has a heart-to-heart conversation with a magical pig. Instead of a heroic standoff, the pig wins a formal debate against the king of Ithaca, arguing that animals possess far more bravery and virtue than human men. Ancient writers frequently used this kind of sharp satire to mock the concept of the flawless, invincible hero. Deconstructing the masculine ideal is a deeply ancient literary tradition. Finally, we reach the claim that focusing on female perspectives is a modern political agenda. Evidence exists in Ovid's Heroides, a collection of poems written entirely from the perspective of the women in Greek mythology. Ovid altered Homer's original timeline to give these sidelined women the spotlight, allowing them to publicly call out their lying husbands. Centering sidelined female characters was already a highly popular mainstream literary tradition in antiquity, thriving long before the 21st century. If we step back from individual casting debates, we see the actual mechanics of how human mythology survives. A myth is a living organism. If a story remains rigid and cannot adapt to its current era, it goes extinct. The Odyssey survival relies on every generation ripping the poem apart and rewriting it to fit their own world. That tradition of aggressive remixing is exactly what Christopher Nolan is doing today, from shooting on massive IMAX cameras to casting unconventional actors and layering Travis Scott over liars. By subverting rigid expectations and forcing the narrative to fit a 2026 audience, Nolan is executing the most historically accurate and traditionally Greek thing a storyteller could possibly do. So you really don't need to worry about the casting, but you might want to start worrying about the pig.